What up, everybody? The Warhammer to get started by watching Drinking with Moe's.
This is Drinkinatmos, where we talk about the pros of pro wrestling in the Midwest while sipping on some brews with blessed beers and wrestling. That's my scene. Death matches and lucha libre, it's all so mean. I'm a straight up smart goofball, not no kiss ass. I stand tall when it comes to wrestling. I'm the king. I know every move, every fling. Get ready for a wild time with Drinkinatmos, where we don't quit. Drinkinatmos, that's where it's at, like a power bomb. We hit hard, never flat. Fucking right, we're living the dream. Talking about wrestling, know it's a scream.
You know, I've always said here at Drinkinatmos, just because it says drinking at Moe's does not mean it has to be alcoholic. So I'm happy to say Drinking at Moe's is sponsored by Prince Nana Coffee. The exact same guy you see every week on Dynamite, on Collision. Yes, he has his own coffee, and it's freaking delicious. They don't even roast those beans until you've placed your order. And you might be telling me, hey, Big Mo, I'm more of a tea guy. They got you covered there too. Use the referral link in the description of this video. And let's get you dancing like Prince Nana with Prince Nana Coffee. All right, everybody, welcome to Drinking and Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit. Because YouTube's algorithm is a pain in the ass. Where most places can find the audio podcast too. Don't forget about those. Today, I'm excited to have with me the Warhammer herself, Lilith Grimm. How you doing?
Like, how are you doing today?
I can't complain. I mean, me, outside of podcast and wrestling stuff, my wife and I have an English bulldog, and he's had a little bit of an upset stomach the last day or two. So he looks like he's feeling better. So the dog lover in me is a happy guy right now.
Oh, I completely understand that.
Yeah, the English bulldog was always my dream dog growing up, and now I've had a handful of them. He's my buddy. He's a little chunk, but he's my buddy. But
aren't they always?
Oh God, he's my speed. You know, you feed him, let him outside to go do his business, and he's happy as hell napping on the couch the rest of the damn day. Gotta love it. Now, first thing I like to start off with everybody with when they first come on is what got you started as a fan, and then what got you deciding to make the leap into the business?
So, as I got into it around 2015, actually, a friend was watching it. I started watching it with them, and I just fell in love with everything about wrestling. I thought it looked so cool. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh man, like that'd be so cool to do, and then you move on with your life, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, oh, that'd be cool to do, but like, how do you do that, you know? And then years later, I was doing burlesque, and a friend that I did burlesque with, we were going to do a duet. And so we were trying to decide what song we were going to use, and I ended up sending him Bray Wyatt's theme song. And he was like, hold up, how do you know that song? And I was like, oh, it's my favorite wrestler theme song. And he was like, did you just say favorite wrestler? And I'm like, I know. Like, I'm a dork, but I love it. And he was like, you know, I've been a wrestler for 14 years, right? And I'm like, bro, we've been friends for like 6. How has this never come up between us? And then a week later, he asked me if I wanted to be his valet. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that sounds like a fun time. I did my very first show, and that was my very first indie wrestling show ever, was the first one that I was on. And nice. We wrestled, he was wrestling Filter, who I've wrestled multiple times in my career now, which is very, very funny. But we wrestled Filter, and I fell in love with everything about wrestling. A week later, I started training, and 7 years later, it's my career.
Nice. Yeah, my first independent show was actually not until I got stationed out in San Diego. I Googled pro wrestling in San Diego, and then off to the races I went.
I didn't know there was wrestling in San Diego. That's good to know.
Well, I mean,
have a lot of family in San Diego.
Yeah, no, at the time there was like directly in San Diego. I think most of it now is up more towards Oceanside.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's where a good portion of the stuff that I went to was. There was a promotion that ran, I'm trying to remember what parts of San Diego, but yeah, at the time there was a little more than there is now, but that's how I got my start. I ran into some people that a guy that actually, before he passed away, ran a promotion up here in Omaha, Nebraska, and when I came back home, bam, there I went, got it continued.
Heck yeah.
And you know, it's funny you mentioned the whole Bray Wyatt thing, because I mean, one of my favorites too, but my show, not like directly, but kind of indirectly has a little connection to Bray Wyatt in a way, because I had a while back, I had Dutch from The Righteous on.
Mm.
And at the time, not realizing the friendship he had with Bray Wyatt, until I made a post on Twitter about his episode, and I get a Twitter alert that like all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, at a light, I'll check. When I checked, I about dropped my phone because it was Bray Wyatt. And I'm like, I messaged Dutch right away. I'm like, you're friends with Bray Wyatt? And he like said gave a little story. I'm like, that explains so much right now. So a little fun.
That's really dope.
Oh man, there's some fun stuff that I've been able to say with the show, and I've had some guys and gals that are now on AEW or WWE now, that if you would have told me before I started the podcast that I'd be talking to any of those people, I would have thought you were full of crap. Like Bronson Reed, I had him on. That one's still like, he's still one of my favorites. I just enjoy those people that ooze that intensity.
Yeah.
And he's one that is like, you see him walking out to the ring and you're like,
oh, somebody's going to get hurt.
Oh, yeah. And like, if he's coming at you, you're like, oh, God, I hope I brought a change of pants.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt. I've done training out at OVW with Al Snow.
Mm-hmm.
And Al was doing he was teaching me a lesson in, like, you know, that, like you're saying, that intensity in the ring, you know, like how to have that aura. And Al just started walking towards me, and I was like, oh, God, like, okay. I'm about to get my ass whooped. Luckily, Al did not whoop my ass because he's Al. He's magnificent. But, yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, you brought up, I did see a bunch of stuff with OVW with you, but the thing that I've enjoyed with some of the other people from OVW that I've had on when talking about him, when Al Snow, is it just seems like he's one of those trainers that it's like, he's not gonna blow smoke up your ass.
No, God, no. Al would never. I've been training with Al for off and on for about 6 years now. God, it's been a while. And the one thing I can say about Al Snow is, if Al lectures you after a match, if Al like talks your ear off and tells you everything you did wrong, and you know, tells you all, you know, that you need to bring your boots, and he cares about you, and he thinks that you can improve, and he believes in you. Otherwise, he wouldn't waste his time critiquing you. A critique from Al means he believes in you. Otherwise, he'll give you yeah, it was fine, or I didn't see it, and then he'll move on.
Yeah, and you know what? I enjoy hearing that about trainers, because I've seen some people that at shows that it's like, who the hell trained you?
Absolutely.
And so when you have, and it's like, they probably could have used somebody like that. But it's like, not going to pull any punches. They'll tell you what you did good, but they're also going to tell you what you need to improve. So that way you're not just constantly fucking it up.
The first time I got oh yeah, it was good from Al. I had a panic attack because I was like, oh my God, like it's the worst match I've ever had in my life. Like, you know, everything's bad. And like he saw me panicking. He like took his headphones off, turned and looked at me. He said, "You did a good job, kid. No notes." And I was just like, I don't trust this. I don't trust this.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on?
Tell me I did something wrong.
No,
but like I've been trained by a lot of, like, I guess you call the old guard, you know, guys that have been doing this for a long time, and like they're strict, they're rough, like they're not gonna bullshit you. They're gonna tell you to your face, like, what the fuck was that, you know?
Oh yeah.
And pardon my French, sorry, but you know,
no,
like they'll tell you about yourself because they believe in you, and because, you know, they believe in this wonderful, crazy world that we live in, and they want to see only excellence. And if you can't take a critique, then, you know, like, you're not gonna last too long.
No, definitely, you definitely can't take it too personal, because, you know, if they're telling you stuff to improve on, that's like, okay, next time you go and improve on it. If they,
that's what they want you to prove them wrong. And they want to see that they give you a critique, and the next time they see you, you've improved on everything, and they're like, heck yeah, awesome, fantastic.
Oh yeah. Now, curious, because I've seen the pictures with the hammer.
Oh yeah.
Known as the Warhammer.
Absolutely.
Everybody has the story of how it came about. You know, sometimes that first little bit can be, you know, a bit of a feeling out process. What's going to stick? How did everything come about with the Warhammer?
So when I first started, I went through a myriad of gimmicks, like everybody does in the beginning. And I was known as the Demon and the Bone Collector for a while. For many, many years, I was this spooky character. I had this mask. You know, I was spooky. I put blood on my face, contacts, the works. And I was, you know, I enjoyed being spooky. I had a great time with it. You know, I was getting booked all over the country as the Demon, and it was great. And then I was being mentored by DLO Brown, another old guard that will tell you about yourself. I love DLO Brown.
Oh, yeah.
If DLO's watching this, love you, buddy. But DLO was the one that kind of sat me down and had a conversation with me about, like, you're good at this, you're really good at this, but there's already a spooky girl in every major company, you know, like, so you're competing with them. And they were there first, you know. So it's like, do you want to compete, or do you want to give them something unique that they don't have? And we sat down. He had a long conversation with me, and time to switch gimmicks. So then we spent about a year trying to figure out what the gimmick was. So I went from the Demon to the Bone Collector, tried to be like more Viking-esque. And, like, it just wasn't really sticking. It was just pretty much the Demon with a new fresh coat of paint, basically.
Yeah.
You know, we played around with some other ideas, and then my trainer, Mercury Yaden, Rocky Mountain Pro, my trainer was the one who was like, well, your day job is, well, I didn't have a day job anymore. He's like, but you were a welder, right? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, like, you're a blacksmith. I was like, yeah. He goes, well, why don't you do that? And I was like, you know? And then we sat down with D-Lo, and he goes, yeah, I've never seen that done. I was like, yeah, you're right. And so we leaned into, like, more of the blacksmith idea. I came up with the term for Warhammer because Warhammers are my favorite medieval weapon. And my blacksmithing mentor gave me, like, a very historically accurate one. And I love that hammer. I call it the can opener. I've used it as a can opener multiple times. But I came with the Warhammer. I was like, okay, cool. And so originally I had the hammer, but I would come out, and I started with the sparks right away. But what I had was, I would strap a piece of metal to my arm, and I would take the angle grinder and I would do sparks off of the piece of metal strapped to my arm. Because like I said, I did burlesque. I used to do freak show, so I've been around that kind of like. I knew how to pull that off, in a relatively safe manner. Hashtag OSHA's least favorite wrestler. And then a couple shows in. Figure out, okay, who is she? Who is the Warhammer? Because I was so like I had the demon down pat. I knew everything about the demon, but who is the Warhammer? And Dio comes up to me. He goes, "Lily, you the Warhammer, right?" I was like, "Yes, Philo Brown." And Shram. He goes, "Well, then why don't you have a big fucking hammer?" I was like, "Philo Brown, you right? You right, sir?" So I made the hammer, and I came back with it. And he goes, "Fuck yeah!" And I was like, "What if I do the sparks off the hammer?" He goes, "Absolutely." And so that's where we came up with that. He goes, "I want you to be Lady Thor." And I was like, "Bet." And so it started evolving from there. And sorry, this is a very long-winded way of
No, I like it. It's all good.
And so it originally was just, I'm a girl and I got a hammer. I'm cool, Like, I'm a blacksmith and I got a hammer. And then I was trying to figure out music. And so, like, I've been in the music industry before, like, various ways. So I kind of know, like, the ins and outs of the music industry. So I was listening to this song, and I was like, man, I love this song. The song's awesome. I love this. And I was like, what if emailed them? And so I did. And I emailed this band, and they replied almost immediately and were like, absolutely, we would love for you to use this song. However, up to us, it's up to Napalm Records, because they technically own the song. And I'm like, oh, man, Napalm, okay. Like, Napalm's notoriously hard to get a hold of. And they go, oh, but here's the email that we use. And I was like, oh, okay. Napalm Records emailed me back within 30 minutes and said, absolutely, you can use the song. The song was Diggy Diggy Hole by Windrose. And that's where it really evolved to I'm a girl with a hammer to I'm a dwarven blacksmith. And I play I play Dungeons and Dragons. I play, World of Warcraft. I play all these like high fantasy games. And I was like, that's it. That's who Warhammer is. She's a high fantasy, blacksmith. Because I'm like, I'm not super tall. I'm not super short. I'm kind of right in the middle, dwarf. Like dwarven blacksmith. Like, yeah, I can do Lord of the Rings. Like, Gimli. Like that's kind of what I started leaning into, and it's kind of just evolved from there. And so that's a very long-winded way of how I've become the Warhammer, and I love kind of really become me.
No, I love it. I love hearing those origin stories, and it got me thinking. I don't play so much D&D, but I do have my brother-in-law to credit for me getting into Magic the Gathering.
I also play Magic the Gathering.
I have so many. When that Ninja Turtle set came out, I went nuts.
Oh my god, that's like the only set I haven't played.
Pre-release weekend, I bought a collector booster pack. We're going off on a tangent here, but hey, that happens on my damn show. But pre-release weekend, I went and after I got my oil changed in my car, I went by a shop and bought a collector booster pack. And the last card in the damn pack was the Japanese Showcase Super Shredder that's going for almost $400.
Holy shit.
I have, and it's like the fractured foil one, the fancy one.
Foil, yeah.
That, like, yeah, it's going for damn near $400 right now. And I'm like, I literally ran back into the shop because I opened it in my car just to show them. And my wife actually got me the Deadpool secret layer, like the original.
I love that secret layer.
That one, the original one. I have a deck built off of that I have. Let's just say I have some cards in there that I'm like, oh, so you think Deadpool's the problem?
Yeah.
I actually have the the Jaws card that's going for about $150. I got that in there. I actually won a game with that deck without ever having to bring Deadpool out because I just kept on swinging Jaws at everybody.
Heck yeah.
So
I thought my Mothman was my first deck. I actually have a tattoo of Mothman because of this deck. I love Mothman. He's my favorite cryptid. My Mothman deck is hated by all of my friends because Mothman gets very big very fast, and he's a flyer. So they're like, we hate your 2020 flyer freaking commander. And I'm like, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're out of the game in 2 rounds. Goodbye.
Oh yeah, I've got a handful of decks like that I'm like, oh yeah, we could do a whole podcast just on that. But you mentioned one promotion, Rocky Mountain Pro, that I've been lucky enough to have a few people to go through there. And there's another one that I wanted to talk about also. We'll talk about them both. Lucha Libre and Laughs.
Lucha Libre and Laughs. I love that place.
I've seen some stuff from them. I'm like, those shows just look like fun.
Oh my god, yes, absolutely. Lucha Libre and Laughs. It's such a wild concept to like what the show actually is, because there's it's comedy and wrestling combined. Like we have comedians, we have matches. Our commentary team are professional comedians. We do a lot of comedy style matches. But then we also have Minoru Suzuki on the show.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh man. Like
no, Lucha Libre is like by far like my favorite promotion to work. I have a blast every single time.
Yeah, that is one that I've been through Colorado a handful. It's been a couple years. I'm like, dang, I might need to just make a trip out there just to go there. I mean, especially if Minoru Suzuki ever comes back through there, because like, holy crap.
So
like, we talked about me loving those people with that intensity. Like, dude.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. Minoru Suzuki.
He's an interesting person to talk to. He's very, very intense. Very kind, but very intense. It's one of those like, like you could kill everybody in this room if you really wanted to, but you're smoking your cigarettes, so you're having a great time.
Oh man, yeah. Oh, like you just see him coming out. Like I remember the whole time after the thing with AEW when they like cut off his music and the look on his face. Oh, you thought he was gonna rip somebody's head off.
He probably did.
Oh, I'm probably sure when he got to the back, you probably got.
They don't call him Murder Grandpa for nothing.
Yes. Now, Rocky Mountain Pro, there was a title that I wanted to ask about that I like. Titles having their names, the Lockets champion.
The Lockets, yes.
Now
that is our women's championship.
That was what I was gonna guess.
Yeah, so our women's division is the Lockets. Like how TNA has the Knockouts, we're the Lockets.
Nice. And you've been a former champ for them. You've been, and I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've seen it still listed you being a tag champ over at Lucha Libre and Laughs.
I technically am, yes, the last tag champ at Lucha Libre and Laughs. My former tag team partner ended up leaving wrestling while we were tag champs, and the stuff just kind of went away. Like that title just went away. So technically, I mean, they're in my house right now. I still physically have those titles.
So they very well could.
It's very ironic because my current tag partner at Lucha Libre Labs, because I do singles, but I also do tag, is me and B.S. Morris. We are the Fights Templar, and B.S. Morris was part of the tag team that I won the tag belts off of. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that we're a tag team right now. Just saying.
Yeah, that is kind of interesting. Now, Okay. Speaking of that, I know I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling myself. And, everybody has, some people have their preferences, tag, singles, some people like, being that part of a team. Others like singles more. It's like you don't have to worry about, if your tag partner is going to get injured, or they screw something up. It's like you're relying on you, and you only got yourself to blame if something gets screwed up. What would you say is the way you lean in that?
More of a singles wrestler myself. I love V.S. Morris. He knows this. I love the Fight Templar. I've been burned. I've been burned on tag partners in the past. And with the way that I travel, how often I'm booked, like, this is my full-time job now. Like, I don't have a day job anymore. This is my job. It's hard to have somebody else that can do that. And so I don't like to have to rely on anybody else in order to be booked.
No, I can understand that, definitely. Now, you mentioned about going a little bit of everywhere. I mean, the thing that I'm loving now is I'm also seeing a lot of places or I'm seeing more pop up that is like all women's shows. Like the whole promotion is just women's wrestling.
Oh, yeah, we got Respect Women's Wrestling right here. That's a sister company of Lucha Libre and Laughs. It's an all-women's show here in Colorado. We just had a show last weekend.
Nice. Yes, I was seeing a lot about them. And excuse me. I love my Dr. Pepper, but it gives me the burps like crazy. But another promotion that I've seen the event posters for, believe a show coming up here sometime relatively soon for Divine Women's Wrestling.
Yes, Divine the Gathering.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of stuff with different talent from there. I recently had the lady that's the general manager there, Annie O'Neill. I've done a few different preview shows for different shows there. So when I saw them, like, oh, I'm having her on. Oh, she's gonna awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. My debut there, so I'm actually really excited to get to go out there. It'll be a new state for me, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, no, like I've only ever actually gone to wrestling shows, and actually, now that I think about it, literally only 3 different states now that I think about it: California, Iowa, and Nebraska. So I like to go whenever I can, but when I end up traveling, when I'm not traveling by myself or with one of my fellow wrestling fan friends, yeah, my traveling time ends up getting taken by other people.
Yeah, I get that.
But I'm excited to see how your debut there for Divine Women's Wrestling goes, because they've got such a great product there, and I'm loving that I'm seeing more of these all women shows, because I remember a time relatively after not too long after the first all women's WWE pay-per-view, where people were talking about, oh, we need another one. And then I swear somewhere I heard somebody say about if there was enough talent to carry a whole show. But like literally, especially on the independent scene, there's so much great women's wrestling talent out there that respect and Divine, like, oh man. there's some great stuff.
Oh no, there's absolutely enough women. You know, like something that OVW does every January. We do the Nightmare Rumble, and there's a women's rumble and a men's rumble. You know, we had 20 women in it this year.
Oh yeah, rumble matches. Those are secretly my little pleasure with wrestling because I don't know. No matter what promotion, it's always my favorite show of the calendar because, you know, you never really know who's popping up where, or how it's going to go. Or like, heck, I was actually just watching one of my, they have a rather unorthodox way of going about it, but I believe every Mania week, GCW with the clusterfuck, like that's like, I love that damn show because it's just like, so damn chaotic.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun. I do enjoy those kind of matches every now and then.
Oh yeah. Now, okay, so I have two categories here. One's a bit of a name game where I name off some people. You give me some quick thoughts on each of them, and I try to theme it towards the guest as much as possible. And, well, all but I do have a wild card in here where not so much themed towards the other three. I got 4 names. But the first 3, powerhouse women in wrestling. Now, so like I said, give you the name, first thought that pops into your head. First one that I've had the pleasure of getting to meet a handful of times. The Problem, Marina Shafir.
I've wrestled Marina.
I saw that.
She's a beast. She's a beast, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's funny because for me, I love that I have a handful of different examples of this, where it's like the persona in front of the camera. And you, like, we've all seen how intense Marina Shafir is on
absolutely
camera. But then talking to her, like, in the meet and greet lines at the shows or whatever after the show, nice person. Like, holy crap. Like, just the difference between on camera and off was like, whoa. Just weird, the difference there for me. Like, I've seen another person, one of my personal favorites, Swerve. Like, we've seen how him and how he can be one sadistic son of a bitch. But when I actually got to talk to him, dude, one of the nicest dudes ever. Now, next one, we're hot off the heels of WrestleMania as of recording. And she won back the women's title, Rhea Ripley.
I mean, also, what other word than mommy?
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm a huge fan of hers. I haven't got a mirror yet, but, although, oh boy, with the way some of the news that's been coming out, with the way some of the fans were, with some of those people in Vegas during Mania week, it's like, oh God. Like, you almost looks like some of those people are going to want to shy away from meeting people outside of the official meet and greets.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of those people were getting pretty damn ridiculous. Let's just put that out there. But another person, powerhouse, that I hadn't seen her in a bit, but then I saw her pop up. It might have been Effie's Big Gay Brunch that I saw her on. Nyla Rose.
Oh my God, I love Nyla Rose. Bestie.
Oh man. Absolute powerhouse. And that I remember watching her, I have some of my hobbies behind me. Here's some of my collections. I remember seeing her in some of Ethan Page's toy hunt vlogs that he used to do all the time, and some of the fun that she'd be having with them. And oh god, Danhausen, speaking of, you know, people they'd have fun with. Huge fan of hers. I hopefully, well, I don't know what the situation with her in the AEW is right now. I mean, hopefully soon. Now, I mentioned I had a wild card, and I've seen that you know, you have not shied away when it comes to intergender matches.
Nope. I love doing intergender, honestly.
I'm personally a fan of it. I always like to say, if you got two people, regardless of gender, that you know would make a good match, put them together, let them go.
Absolutely.
One person that when watching some stuff of yours and thinking about one of my personal favorites, I'm like, oh god, I'd love to see this. Samoa Joe.
Fun. That'd be fun. Samoa Joe, I mean, he's that guy, you know?
Oh yeah. Oh man. I mentioned a lot about the intensity. I love him, and there's one other guy that I love the way their facials on the way to the ring, especially if they have a title on them. Him and Tomohiro Ishii. Like, especially if either one of those have a title on them and they're going to the ring, they just have this look on their face like you're going to have to damn near kill them to take that title off of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's that presence.
Oh yeah, that they definitely have that. And I still remember, I mean, Samoa Joe's had classic matches all over the place. I mentioned Tomohiro Ishii. I still remember one of the first matches of his I ever saw. I saw him throw a headbutt, and like you could literally hear the bone on bone smack, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
oh god, I got a headache now.
Those are fun to do.
Oh god, and like I've seen plenty of people throw headbutts all over the place, but I'd never seen somebody throw one and you can literally hear the bone on bone smacking. I'm like, yeah, it was crazy. Now, I have some random questions here. Some wrestling related, some not. That's what, random. So I give you the question, first answer that pops in your head. First question, craziest in-match moment for you?
I mean, it would probably have to be my death match with I've had a few crazy ones. Brad Cash. It's Brad Cash. We had a death match where I stuck a drill in his mouth and turned it on.
Oh god.
So that was the moment where ironically that was not my you sick fuck moment during that match. It's when I drilled him in the forehead and then licked the drill afterwards. That's when they said it, not the drill in the mouth, but I think the drill in the mouth was a little bit more intense.
Yeah, I would say so. I'm a huge deathmatch wrestling fan. I've been lucky enough to have some of my favorites on. I even got something from one of my favorites. I've had him on twice, John Wayne Murdoch.
Nice, yeah, I've had Murdoch many a time.
I've had him on twice. I've actually had him tell me he doesn't do too many podcasts anymore, but he'll do mine. I'm like, oh god. Talk about a sense of validation right there. Like, holy shit. Now, okay, well, that leads me, I didn't have this on my list here, but got me thinking, death matches. A lot of people might ask why.
Why not?
I love it. Because, like much like intergender wrestling and deathmatch wrestling has its supporters, has its detractors. I, for one, think, and I've had plenty of people, including the Duke of Hardcore himself, literally say, when it's done right, it's just like any other form of wrestling. You just got all that crazy shit surrounding it.
They're just tools to use in the storytelling of wrestling. Like there's a lot of bad deathmatch. Don't get me wrong, but when it's done right, it's a beautiful storytelling.
Oh yeah, like oh god, WrestleMania weekend, the opening match of the clusterfuck, the match Matt Tremont had with Koger, the cage match, dude, amazing, loved it. The storytelling in there, Tremont wanting to get his ultra-violent title back, great stuff. Now, we mentioned, as of recording, we're off the heels of WrestleMania. Everybody has a favorite match or moment from, well, not just this year, but Mania history. What is a favorite match or moment of WrestleMania for you?
Well, I mean, technically it's the moment that made me want to be a wrestler, which was when, not technically Mania, it was Raw after Mania, when Paige beat AJ Lee for the Divas Championship the day after Raw.
Yeah, and heck, they're both now back in the fold.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be awesome. Like I heard the rumors, leading up to Mania, and I'm like, well, it's possible, but
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Now looking back, it was like, well, the one of the Bellas is injured, so I mean, is it possible? And then, wouldn't you know, it happened. I know for me, it's sad because one of my favorite Mania matches, it seems like you can't really talk about one of the participants right now. But one of my favorite matches was from the first Mania I ever got to watch live, WrestleMania 20, with the triple threat match between Triple H, HBK, and Benoit. Love that damn match. But then, me being the Stone Cold fan I am, I'll admit I was a little worried when the whole thing with Kevin Owens and Stone Cold came up, but man, they did pretty dang great there. I'm a big Stone Cold fan, so it's like I was gonna love it. Like, he is one wrestler that if I ever met, I don't get starstruck too easily, but I don't know if I'd be able to get a word out. Just saying. And funny enough, I was actually just telling my wife about this story, but with all the craziness of, fans at Mania and, getting, not really listening to the boundaries of the different wrestlers, I actually ran into Kevin Owens at Disney World a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I almost was wanting to talk and maybe ask for a picture, but then I took a second and I noticed he was with his family, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go. I'm not fucking with family time. Because, with the travel schedule, some of the WWE, yeah, the WWE rosters, some of the travel schedules those guys have is like, I'm not messing with family time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're in the middle of the park too, so I was like, if we're in the parking lot, I might have at least said hi. But we're in the middle of the park. That's just going to cause a scene.
Yeah, that could cause a frenzy.
So I was like, you know what? I just kept walking. I got up to my wife, and I'll admit, I fanboyed out a little bit. Like, oh my god, because like I literally bent down, looked up, and I see that T-Rex skull tattoo on his arm. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, I'll admit. Now, with a name of a show like I have, I feel like I have to ask this one. Favorite drink, alcoholic, otherwise, or hell, both?
Dark beer.
Mm.
I'm a stout and porter girl, absolutely, and I love me an imperial too. But no, like any kind of dark beer. Being from Colorado, we have a lot of beer here, so I'm very much a beer snob, and I like it. I like it as dark as my soul.
I mean, I'll admit, Stone Cold, I do enjoy his Broken Skull American Lager. I wish
that was good, yeah. I don't mind light beer. I just, if I have my choice, I'm gonna go for like a Guinness.
Yeah, no, I get you there. But yeah, I wish they sold that a little closer to me. But the closest they sell it to me is Kansas City, and that's like a good almost 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
I'm not driving 3 hours just to pick up a few beers. Although, lucky for me, my brother-in-law lives in Kansas City.
So sometimes he brings it out?
Yes, sometimes he does. If I know in enough time that they're coming up and I ask, more often than not, they bring some up. So, happy me.
Heck yeah.
Although, Colorado, last time I was up there, we stayed outside of Winter Park and actually stopped by Tommy Knocker Brewery.
Oh, I love Tommy Knockers. They have a pumpkin beer that they put out every October, and I drive up there just to get it.
Oh yeah, we go, and the last 2 times I've been up, we've stopped through Bojo's Pizza up there. That's like right down the street.
Mm-hmm. Bojo's is so tasty. I love Bojo's.
Oh my god, there's times I wish I could go to make a trip around Colorado just to freaking go there. Freaking delicious. Now, last question I have here, random questions. Best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling?
Ooh, okay. Like this is not an easy business to get into. It's not an easy business to excel in. You have to be willing to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to give it your all, not just like in working out and training, but like getting your name out there, traveling, like it's expensive. It's expensive in the beginning, like when you're earning your name, but if you're dedicated to it, it'll reward you. But the biggest key that, like, I've been doing this for about 7 years now, and I would say the key to my success, the one thing that has gotten me booked more often than not is community. It's making friends. It's being personable. It's, talking to people and like having each other's backs. Like this business can be so cutthroat. It can be so brutal, but if you don't have friends, if you don't have a support system, and ergo be somebody else's support system as well, like I've been booked because of conversations that happened that I wasn't in the room for. Because people were speaking on my name, and they were saying like, oh, hey, like, oh, you need a person, you need her, and like, I do that for people all the time too. And like, it's one of those like back end things that like, you don't really know is happening unless you've really been there. And I see a lot of people making the mistake of trying to do the solo and just not really caring about like making friends. It's like, I'm here to make money and not make friends. It's like, yes, but it's a lot easier with friends. It's a lot easier with connections. I'm very grateful for the community that I have. I would not be where I am. I would not be who I am without my insanely incredible support system.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely great advice. I know I can say the same thing about this podcast. When I was just getting started, I started out my friends local to me here, and then I started thinking I'm going to run out of people soon. And then I started reaching out to people I knew back in California, and then here I am now. I had a promotion from up in Canada reach out to me.
Heck yeah.
And it was just like, wait, you want on my show? You're up there like thinking, holy crap, I'm going international.
Work is a whole thing.
Oh man, it's been fun. Like I mentioned earlier, if I would have told myself the version of myself before I started the podcast that I would have that happen, I would have thought you were full of shit. And now I've had people not actually in Japan at the time, but I've had people from New Japan. I've had people that have gone to Mexico, Puerto Rico, to England. I've actually had somebody that was on excursion to the States from the UK. So it was like, holy shit. So all based off of those friendships that I've ended up making, that I would have had those opportunities without that. So yeah, the same thing for the podcast that with what you said for people wanting to get into wrestling. Those connections are very important.
They're everything.
For sure. Now, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on the Warhammer, they can go ahead and get them there.
I'm on basically all social medias. I'm on TikTok and Twitch under Lilith Grimm _Warhammer. And then I'm on pretty much everywhere else. If you just look up Lilith Grimm, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, X. I'm on everything. I'm on YouTube, and I have merch on ProWrestlingTees.com. I believe right now I'm still the only Lilith, so you can just look up Lilith and I should pop up. But
definitely,
definitely. I'm everywhere.
We'll definitely get that in the description. Well, that is about all I have. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Been an absolute pleasure, and you're welcome back anytime.
Absolutely. And next time, you know what? Next time we'll do it from a brewery, and we'll both have a beer together.
Yes, I love it.
Because there's plenty of amazing breweries here in Colorado that I love to go to all the time. So yeah, next time we'll schedule it, and I'll make sure I'm at a brewery.
Oh, definitely. All right. Now, my issue with this fucking button, I have issues with this damn thing. So we'll